This mistake cost me a $2,000 payout with Tradeify, a $3,000 account on my 50K straight to sim funded account, and here are all the mistakes that I made and the lessons that we're going to take from it to move forward and become better from it. So looking at the charts here, this was on the Thursday, where really it was just up and down. From the pre-market, we moved down well overnight, maybe set in this double bottom here at the open and had a nice bullish pop. But we did not continue that pop, as you could see if you traded that day as well. We actually retraced right back down. So very wonky looking price action where it just went nowhere, chopped everyone around. But I think this week was maybe the first or second week of looking at this yellow VWAP, right? Normally that's a news VWAP. I can make it any color you want. It really doesn't matter. It's just something new that I'm looking at here of a start of week VWAP. So from the Sunday 6 p.m. changeover, a start of week. So we've been seeing some key bounces off of that through the markups throughout the last 2 weeks or so. So seeing that we double bottomed off this at the open and we did get that bullish pop here, that did look good because now we have that VWAP alignment to the upside. You can see we're back above the daily and previous days in New York. So that looks great for longs. And this was one of those days where it just ripped through both of those VWAPs and never gave that nice pullback that I'm normally looking for on the 1 minute or 2 minute, right? It just kept ripping and ripping the first break outside opening range. Plenty of people on stream on ASFX TV found winners there, just finding the longs that weren't pulling back because there was no sellers. But once you see us even test this high and yesterday's high, I guess that kind of just set in the range for the day. Let's go over to the 2 minute and see what I was looking at to find my trades. And I bet you the mistake that I made isn't what you're probably guessing. It wasn't even a full tilt day. It wasn't even a tilt day, but we'll get into that in just a little bit. Here's the 1 minute I'm speaking of, just rips higher. Evan, the first break of open range, you said it normally doesn't run. Well, on this day, it completely ignored that and just ripped and ripped. But we finally do get a break in that bullish trend. We finally take a pause up here, seeing some pullback happen. The buyers are taking a break, and we get to the New York VWAP. This is the key level bounce. This is why I don't chase price that's just drifting higher and higher up here, because I never know when it's going to want to end and when this bigger pullback comes in. So I'm glad I waited. I'm glad I didn't just jump in at the top here saying, well, this thing's just going to keep going on forever, so I might as well just jump in now, right? If I had that idea and I set it back here and I set it back here, yeah, you can make some money on it. But how repeatable is that? How consistently can I do that? It's very, very tough to know which days are going to rip like this and which ones are going to ultimately give these deeper pullbacks that we want, right? So excuse me for the markups not being on here, the arrows being on here. I was traveling, taking these trades, so truthfully, I didn't take any DRCs. I took some markups. I didn't really even save them, but I was slacking on my report cards, on my reflection. That could also be a big, big, big factor in this poor trading day, because I was just off of my routine, off of my schedule, not at my desk that you see me at here, out of my flow, out of my routine. So a lot of my habits did fall to the wayside of I'm not really doing report cards. I'm not really doing reflections on what did I do well, what could I have done better, where were the best plays. I really didn't mark up anything. So that's definitely a huge note to keep in mind. I always speak highly on that. If you want to look into TradeZilla, that's what I'm always trading with, and I have great markups. I pride myself in always doing great markups, that I have like 5 or 10 ideas a day. So if you want to join TradeZilla, you can actually use my name, Evan10, for the 10% off the monthly plan. But I definitely need you guys to hold me accountable to getting back onto doing the report cards, because I definitely think that played a huge role in it. But let's put on the high day view up here. As always, we get a nice bounce play. Some people in the Black Shirt Club took that play as well. You could scalp it up for a little bit there, but I take the high day view up break, and we take the loss, right? Stop loss below the structure. No trend continuation. There was no buyers following through that bullish rip we had there at the open. Clearly, this 1 minute is very bullish. We have all view up alignments still to the upside. Maybe you could argue we hit that yesterday's high or that pre-market high here, right? We couldn't make a new high, so maybe there's a ceiling up there. But it's still early on in the morning. It's only what? It's 10:45. If we want to get above yesterday's high, there's plenty of time to do it, especially with all that strength we just showed. So I definitely like the trade. That's a healthy trade. It's in my plan. It's not overextended. I waited for it to come back to the key level. I like it. All right. But then it comes back down to yesterday's New York VWAP. So I'm still looking at the 15-minute as well here, where you can see maybe we're just coming back down to the daily VWAP and wanted to retest that. But we sliced through that, but we are off yesterday's New York VWAP. So this could want to be where we build that higher low, because I didn't see a world where we have this nice big bullish pop and retrace the entire thing in the afternoon. But I made a video about it a little while ago. That's almost what's been happening almost frequently in these afternoons, that it just rips, double breaks the initial balance, it retraces the entire move, there's reversals, rallies, whatever. That maybe I shouldn't be that surprised that we did, in fact, almost retrace this entire move, because we just had weird price action lately. But I take another swing at the longs off the bounce off yesterday's New York VWAP. So my stop loss was somewhere down here. It actually does hold. And I actually add back in the longer it holds at yesterday's New York VWAP because I like this base that we're setting. We're still above open range high. You can even take into account we probably don't double break the initial bounce, right? That's another thing in this. Where if you go over here to Edgeful, you can see the double break stat on that. I like to go to Edgeful here. Well, I'm not logged in, so we'll talk about it at a different time. But anyways, like I was saying, I added in. So the mistake that cost me a $2,000 payout, right? It was all locked and ready to go. I had $3,000 in the account. It was eligible for a payout, but I didn't have 10 days traded. I was only at like 8. So I needed just 2 more days of nothing. So that's probably what I should have done. Just put on a micro, close it immediately. That'll count as a trading day. But let me try to just get the account larger so that when I take that payout, the buffer is larger. So again, another mistake on my part. I didn't really need to trade for P&L. I just needed a day logged to be eligible for the payout. There's mistake number 2. So no DRCs and trading for size when I don't need to. But I add in because I thought it was a good trade. But the stupid mistake, I'm not even watching this trade. I'm at the beach in Florida on vacation, whatever you want to call it, and I get stopped out. All right, whatever. But I got stopped out for the original trade here, right? Not the add-in. The stop loss wasn't adjusted to the actual contract size I was still in. So I checked my phone at the beach, as every trader does. What's happening? What's happening in the market? I'm just curious. I'm still in the long. Even though I should have been stopped out, I'm in the long still for like 8 micros to the upside. And it just kept going lower and lower against me. And if you didn't know, there's no max daily loss rule on the Tradeify accounts once you're up above 6%. So I could lose more than $1,200 in a day. And that's why it didn't close me out full once I did hit that negative threshold. So it just kept going and going against me. And I gave back the entire account of $3,000 because there's no max daily loss rule. But I'm not deflecting. I'm going to take accountability. When I looked on my phone on the TradingView desktop or whatever you want to call it, there was nothing there. No floating P&L, no trade, right? Not even on the chart. In my log history, there was no fluctuating P&L. But when I went to tradingview.com on my phone, the web browser, it did pop up. And that's when I was like, holy, you know what? Why am I in a trade? Why am I down like 7,000 ticks? So it was also very weird in that regard that it wasn't showing up on the app, but it did on the website. So good thing I at least checked, even though it didn't do anything for me. But again, stupid mistake to even be trading with no report cards, not really taking it seriously this week in terms of the reflection, the professionalism, the routine, the habits, all that good stuff. And trading on the go and adding in and trading for a size when I don't need to, when I'm already at the payout stage. I have enough buffer. I have an account balance that could take a $2,000 payout. So that really sucks to just have $2,000 payout just stripped away from me from just one trade. It wasn't even a tilt day or anything like that. So that really, really sucks. But I guess the bright side is it only took me, well, I didn't even have the 10 days traded. I started this account on March 7th. So it's been about 2 weeks. So it set me back about 2 weeks, right? Because I got here before in 2 weeks. I could do it again in 2 weeks. But it does still suck. I mean, nobody wants to be up $3,000, have a $2,000 payout sitting there, and then just lose it when they needed one more day of trading for like $1. So really, really bad. But hopefully you guys take lessons in my mistakes of everything we went over in this video. Hopefully you guys are also watching the previous videos I made where I explain this choppy price action, these volatile markets, the things that sometimes don't make sense, how to survive them, how to follow a better plan, a stricter plan, and take these payouts. So don't do what I did on this day if you want to take payouts, but do everything else I preach about to get payouts. So hopefully you guys found value in this. Make sure to use code Evan at Tradeify if you need new accounts. As you can guess, I needed a new account because I lost my account. So I'm going to re-up on the straight to sim funded. Code Evan will get you the best deal that they're offering. So always use that down below. All the links for everything are down below. But trade safe. I'll see you guys on the desk tomorrow morning.